Lord, MAGA's losing their minds. They're alleging a massive conspiracy when it comes to Epstein. You know, the guy who hung out with Donald Trump. Remember this photo right here? Donald Trump claimed he didn't know him. Well, we know that's a lie. And we know Jeffrey Epstein helped out a lot of Republicans. And remember, he cut a deal in Florida with prosecutors there, and Trump's labor secretary was the one who helped him out of that deal that they also wanted to keep secret. Remember, they allowed him to go to jail in the daytime and go home at night? It was really, but it was a sweetheart deal. So a lot of people, especially Republicans, believe that it was a cover-up. And who are the names? Now remember, Pam Bondi, when she came as Attorney General, she was like, I have it on the list on my desk. But then now they claim, oh no, there's no list. And again, MAGA is losing its mind. So today, at the cabinet meeting, a reporter asked Trump about it, and I swear, he almost soiled the adult diaper he's wearing.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the stabbing?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
But here's the thing. It's the right that's making a big deal out of this. They're the ones who are angry and upset and mad and yelling and screaming. Even Tucker Carlson went off on this whole deal and just said how, this could cause a massive, massive storm on the right. Here was an interview that he had with somebody on that issue.
Particularly not only deceived by the people like the FBI director and the deputy director, Dan Bongino, but the attorney general, who went on camera after assuming her office on the White House lawn. These are supposed to mean things, and said thousands of victims. We have the client list. We have the flight logs. She held a little press conference, whatever event, with so-called influencers in which she gave them the Epstein Files, an infamous photo that was released. It turned out that that binder actually had redacted information in it, which was already public, just to demonstrate how they were turning they're turning the White House effectively into a performative show and making, light of the fact that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of underage victims.
MAGA big mad. Like, MAGA's really upset, and they are just going crazy on this issue. Now, that was him talking to Sagar and Jetty. And again, they just, I mean, they are really, really upset. And he's that Dan Bongino lied to the people. Now, it's the same Dan Bongino who just beloved by the right, who left his media perch to go work for Trump. So, I mean, they are just big mad. Now, Trump and them are sitting here. You heard them say, that evil man. And Trump, people are still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. They're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that despicable man. You mean this one? Who's that to the right of Trump? Jeffrey Epstein. Look quite chummy, huh? Boy, look at having a grand conversation. Chummy, 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 chummy. But they're like, oh, that despicable man. That man, how dare he? I mean, Trump was kicking it with him. You had one woman who's actually suing Trump saying she was raped. That's a fact, y'all. Don't get mad at everybody else. That's y'all boy. And the right is so upset. And matter of fact, look here. This is collage of photos of Donald Trump and who? His boy, Jeffrey Epstein. Ain't that interesting? I just think it's a trip, Larry, that MAGA is so mad. So Trump gets mad at the reporter for asking the question when it's the people that voted for him who are pissed off.
Yeah, this is Roland. This is a situation where you eat, people eat their own. They constantly, for the last several years, they have fed all these conspiracy theories. And you talked about just a few weeks ago, we had that, the infamous photo op in front of the White House with the Epstein binders. It was circulated on the news, talked about for days. And the DOJ Attorney General says she had some information that she phrased it a little bit differently than she did from that interview. But they fed this conspiracy theory and people waiting for the payoff based on what we've heard for the last several years. And now they're backtracking. So all that does is feed more conspiracy theories.
While Larry's talking, hold on, Larry. While Larry's talking, go to my iPad. Larry, remember this. They held up these binders. The Epstein FBI files. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and, they talked about having these social media influencers who then went on their podcasts and once again, this went on and talked about how this information was coming out. And so once again, people who, into these conspiracy theories or, follow these kind of things are looking for a payoff. And it never came. And those same folks are now going to turn on the administration because now they think there's up to something. So there's a conspiracy inside the conspiracy. So it's going to be really interesting over the next several weeks, couple months to see what this does in terms of public opinion for those who are right wingers who follow this kind of issue. But bottom line is, Roland, they fed the beast, and the beast expected to be fed. And it's like being at the zoo and throwing red meat at a tiger. And, you didn't throw the tiger any food this time. And now those folks have turned on the administration.
Tyler Midas Touch published this. The tweet was, here are 14 phone numbers associated with Donald Trump from Jeffrey Epstein's little black book. I mean, I guess that's why he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, there's a double standard in how powerful men like Donald Trump are treated when it comes to associating with predators like Jeffrey Epstein, despite, as we just saw, years of photos, videos, and testimony and public connections to him. Trump has never faced full accountability. And I think the real question for his ties to Epstein, is dangerous. And I think the silence of his administration and his silence sends a chilling message that if you're rich, if you're well connected, and if you're white, you get to walk away free while survivors carry the weight. As you said before, even the survivor who came out, or as we look at how Trump has talked about treating women, and I think he has not faced full accountability, and I think it just sends a chilling message that many of us have already known to be true.
This is Brian Shapiro was on Piers Morgan's show, and of course, all of these little Trump defenders who always complain. Mustafa, listen to what Shapiro lit them up on, and he's absolutely right.
When Haba did your show, where did she get that information from? Where did that come from back in February? I would also say to Pam Bondi, she lied on Fox News, or maybe she was telling the truth. She said she had a list that was on her desk, Piers. Where did that list go? Was she lying? Was that made up? And I'd also say thirdly, and I know this is something that Jack probably doesn't want to bring up, but the fact of the matter is that Jeffrey Epstein's on audio saying at one point Donald Trump was his best friend. We also know that Donald Trump was on the Epstein flight log 7 times. We learned that in the Maxwell case. So I don't think it's a stretch to say maybe Donald Trump might be somewhere in these files. Maybe. We don't know that for sure. But I know if it was the other way around, and if it was Joe Biden that was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein at one point, that's all Jack and MAGA Republicans would be talking about. I think Donald Trump is on this list, and I think Donald Trump is in these files, and I think the Trump administration is,
here we go,
is hiding something.
That is
all right.
When Haba did your show, where did
here's the thing that cracks me up, Mustafa. Trump, you asked that question. This feels like desecration. Oh. So now all of a sudden, you want to talk about the more than 100 people killed in the floods in Texas, and the fact that 161 people are still missing. So now you want us to focus on that. So you don't want to answer any questions about that. Maybe that's Mustafa, because when the flood was happening, look who was golfing. 3 days ago, he's on his way to play golf. But now you don't want us asking about these things because because of great things happening and the flood in Texas. No, it's called the First Amendment. We can ask any damn thing we want. And at some point, I wish one of these reporters would actually say, hey man, we can ask what the hell we want, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And, the fact that we can multitask, we can take in multiple types of information and be able to analyze it and make some decisions for ourselves. It's interesting. We know that Trump hung out with Epstein, that Trump partied with Epstein, as the gentleman said. His name also appeared 7 times on the flight logs. We know that Epstein was
17 times on the flight log.
17 times. Okay. I had read 7 times before, so thank you for the correction. And then also, we know that, based upon the way that we're looking at sex trafficking now, that Epstein was also moving folks over to the island and all kinds of different things. So, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, we all know how the saying goes. So, of course, no one wants to have that attention on them when they're associated with someone who's done those types of things. But he had a history of not just one time being seen with this individual, but multiple times. And, no matter who else it might have been, if you found yourself in that situation, if people had all this documentation, both video and photos, then they're going to ask questions about were you also participating in those types of nefarious behaviors that Epstein was convicted on. Not, that people just, said maybe this is something that he's done, but he was actually convicted. In relationship to the list, that was the red meat that everyone kept talking about. And we're really interested in whose name's on the list. I can't tell you how many times, people would make, guesses about who might be on there. And of course, Trump's name came up along with a number of other folks. So you can't get upset if you are going to, affiliate with individuals who do those types of behaviors. criminal behaviors.
And if you're going to sit here and trash Hillary Clinton or Obama or Biden or Harris, then you got to own it. Now, I heard Shapiro say 17. One lawyer said Trump said it was 7 times on the flight log, so I'm going to double check that. But I do want to read this quote. This is from a New York Magazine story. Trump, quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life." That was Donald Trump on Jeffrey Epstein. So I see why he doesn't want questions being asked about Jeffrey Epstein in the White House. All right, y'all.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.